So Hey Joe is a song from Jimi Hendrix called the Jimi Hendrix Experience. I think it's from around 1967. I think he died in 71. Or was that Jimmy Morrison? Anyway, introduction, it's 82 beats per minute, crotchet set at, slow rock. So it's bluesy, it's embellished blues sort of music. It's a cover by Billy Roberts. I've never heard of him. That goes to show how ignorant I am. And one, hat, rest, hat, 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 stare, tom, two, floor. 3 E and a 4 E and. 3 snares, 1 tom, 1 or high tom, 1 tom, 2 or mid tom, and floor. Crash, open, snare, bass, open, snare, bass. This groove happens 1, 2, 3, 4. It happens, I would say, a good 35% of the time. And then you get into this swung 16th notes. So the swung 16th notes means that anything that has 2 lines or 2 tails is closer to the beat to the right. So it's bass, stat, bass, stat, bass, stat. So 1, 2, 3. This snare, and this bass are swung closer or pushed closer to the next beat. And then you got the same. So you got this bar and this bar as the same. And then you got that same groove again that I described with the open hat on the second stroke of every 4. Then you got the same swungness over here, and then you got bass, hat, snare, hat, 3 triple and 4 triple and snare, tom, 1 high tom. Same groove, you know about that. Just an extra bass drum here. Bass, open, close, bass. Where you see the cross is where you close. Same swung thing that I described earlier. Bass, hat, snare, hat. Same placement except tom says snare. Tom says snare. Oh gosh, I did a mistake here, but it's not a hugie. Ordinarily I would do it again. I did tom says snare, but I did mid tom but I did the floors correct. Anyway, well, looks like I have to do my homework. And then you crash bass it here, open it there, close it there, same groove. It's funny when you describe things clearly how. Anyway, bass, hat, snare, stat, open, 3 triplet and triplet, 4 triplet and triplet, crashed into the ride cymbal. What you have in the top line is the ride cymbal. I quite like this in the second half. Bass, snare, tom 1, tom 2, and then bass, hat, snare, stat. And this is the same swung groove that you have here, but it's on the ride cymbal. So any 16th note is pushed closer to the next beat. Bass, hat, snare, hat, 3 triplet and triplet, 4 triplet and triplet. Snare, tom 1, 2, 2, floor. I got that right. Crash, ding, snare, bass, snare, bass. All the way through the same swung groove there. Then you got the same placement here, except you got bass, tom 1, bass, tom 2, bass, floor, bass with the crash. Dum 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 boom 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 boom. So you're just splitting up the sextuplets into 2 snares in the bass, 2 high toms in the bass, 2 mid toms in the bass, and 2 floors in the bass, and crash bass into the same groove that you've done before over here. This is the same swung groove that we've done here. Swung 16th notes again. That's the same code. And here you can put in a nice little groove. Basically a fill. Pardon me. You can do a mixture of this sort of stuff, any of the fills that they've done. Try to be inventive and creative. That's what they're looking for. Crash, hat, crash, ride, snare, bass. We've done that before. Bass, snare, bass, flam, floor, snare. I did that right as well. Crash, ding, snare, bass. And then you got another fill opportunity. Do something exciting. And then you back to the same groove. Then you develop here. You can throw in some fills, go a bit crazy. The Jimi Hendrix drummer goes crazy. He's a very, very baker. Is it Jimmy Baker? Oh, I forget. Anyway, you can look him up. Bass, ding, snare, bass, snare, 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 tom 1, tom 1, ride, bass, snare, bass. And then you dip down and you end up really loud. So you dip down here. I think I could have done a better job at going quieter here, because you do go down to MP and then you gradually get loud. Same fill as that. Snare, snare, bass, tom 1, bass, tom 2, bass, flop, flop, bass, crash bass, crotchet for a rest, minim for a rest, and this is how it sounds, minus my errors.
Hey Joe. 1, 2. 1, 2,